In this video, we're going to be talking about effects more in detail. And remember, we were applying effects from our appearance panel. From the FX button in here, we can be selecting our Illustrator effects and Photoshop effects. And we can be even selecting them also from our effect tab in here. We can be selecting our Illustrator effects from that part or Photoshop effects from that part. And the major difference between Illustrator effects and Photoshop effects is that Illustrator effects are vector based and they will be more flexible in exporting settings. However, the Photoshop effects are pixel based effects or raster effects, and if you're using them, you have to take in consideration their export setting. So I'm gonna show you an example of that right now. Let's say, for instance, we're gonna be selecting maybe that shape, and then we're gonna be going to our effect tab and then stylize, and I'm gonna choose outer glow, and we can be choosing our blending mode screen or any other blending mode, and also our color from here will be giving us the color picker options, which will be opened also from here in our toolbar menu. And we can be customizing our color either from our slider in here like that, or even by inserting our RGB values or CMYK values or HSP values for that color. And the main difference between these three colors are RGB for screens, as we said before, or for web applications, and CMYK for printing colors mixing cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and RGB mixing lights, which are red, green, blue, and HSP values are a new way to define the color. So if we take a look at their definition in that website in here, we're going to be seeing that we have RGB, red, green, and blue in here, and by mixing these colors we're going to be having those other colors. So each pixel on our screen has color guns that are projecting red and green and blue, and they will be giving us the required color according to our image or design or any application that's opened on our screen. However, here we have the HSP color space, which stands for hue, saturation, and brightness. And hue, as you can see, color type such as red or blue or yellow, and it has its own ranges from 0 to 360 degrees. And saturation means the intensity of the color, whether it's too saturated color or even pale and almost grayish one or neutral color, and that will be ranging from 0 to 100%. And for brightness or value in other application, we'll be calling that HSV, because like this is started as HSV then became HSP later. So you can be calling that one brightness or value, and that will be how bright is your color. And if you take a look at that cone in here, you're going to be seeing that, for instance, we have that dark blue in here, and we have that bright one according to our brightness of the color and how saturated it is. And here, as you can see, the HSP model is also known as HSV. And if you pay a close attention in here, you're going to be seeing that H is that circle on our cone in here. You can be picking blue or orange or anything on that circle, and then you have the saturation from the center of our circle all the way to the outer radius. You're going to be seeing the saturation, and value will be on that axis from very bright white all the way to the black. So back to our Illustrator again, and as you can see, we have the H and S and B for all these values. And since we have that document opened in RGB mode, we will be seeing that warning telling us that this one is out of gamut warning, click to correct. And if we click on that one, we will be having our color changed to the nearest correct color. As you can see, it will be dragged to here. Or even you can be showing only web colors to avoid these warnings in the future. And you can be choosing from these colors, or if you have the color code, you can paste that color code in here. So anyway, I'm gonna change that color maybe to that one here, and I'm gonna be using that one, pressing OK and switching on preview. And we can be increasing our opacity or reducing that one from here, or even increasing our blur from here as well. So now we have our effect in vector based, and if we zoom in, it will be staying the same, not affected or pixelated, all the way maybe to 1000%. However, if we zoom out and maybe select that shape in here and go to our effect and choose stylize, for instance, we're going to be having glowing edges. We can be adjusting our width maybe from here, make this one like that, and we'll be seeing that changing on your preview in here, and also brightness and smoothness. And once you're happy with that, you can be pressing OK, and you will be seeing the difference instantly, that we are seeing some pixels. However, if we start zooming a little bit, you will start seeing these nasty pixels. So that could be very important if you're working on a print design file. You need to set your raster effect to 300 pixels, and you can be doing that from effect. You can be selecting document raster effects settings from here. You're gonna be seeing color model to RGB. You can be switching that one to grayscale or bitmap anytime. But the most important option in here is you can be setting resolution to 300 ppi instead of screen. So if you're working on a screen design file, you can set that one to 72, and for printing purpose, you can set that one to 300 ppi. And also here you can be adjusting your background to make it white instead of transparent. And even you can be selecting anti-alias for smoother curves. And you can be creating clipping masks, and we're going to be covering them later. And if you're using spot colors or special colors and you need to preserve them, you can be checking that one. So when I start pressing OK, we're going to be seeing a difference in our shape. I'm going to be pressing OK, and here you can see we have a smoother curve and a highly defined shape. However, if we start even zooming more, we're going to be seeing these pixels appearing again, because these effects are raster effects or even pixel based effects, but they're gonna be fine on 100% for printing purpose. But keep in mind that when you set that one to 300 ppi, that can be affecting your Illustrator's performance, especially if you're working on a complicated design file. So you might keep that one to maybe 72 ppi all the way till you finish your design, then switching to ppi for a smoother design experience. So I'm gonna set that one even to screen 72 ppi. I'm pressing OK. And even before you export your file as pixels, you can be converting that one to 300 ppi if you're going to use that one for printing purpose. So zooming out now, I'm gonna get rid of that raster effect, pressing Command Z and getting our shape back. And now I'm gonna be applying even more effects to get more familiar with them. So maybe going to warp, which will be distorting our shape or giving some arcs to our shape, and you can be experimenting some of these nice effects. However, you can try that one, inflate, and then opening the preview, and you will be seeing a different shape that you can be bending from here, changing its bend maybe like that, or even higher bending like that. And you can be controlling the distortion for horizontal values or vertical ones. So I'm going to be choosing to make it horizontal like that, and even vertical like this one. Maybe reduce that one a little bit. And even you can be applying more than an effect to your shape by selecting that shape again and going to our effects panel, and then going to distort and transform and choosing zigzag and choosing to preview that, and you will be having your shape transformed into a zigzag lines like that. You can be controlling the size of them, maybe less like that, or even maybe 2 pixels. And you can be controlling points and instead of corner, making them smooth to have smoother curves like these ones. And you can be changing your edges from here as well, maybe making them like that for a nicer look, and maybe choosing OK. And if you open your appearance panel, you're going to be seeing that we're having 2 effects applied on our compound path. And maybe you can be trying our 3D effect on that shape. You can be selecting that aircraft and going to effect 3D, and we're going to be seeing extrude and bevel. You can be opening your preview and you can be changing your 3D angle, maybe like that or like that. And I'm gonna be reducing the extrude depth from here, making that one maybe 12. And you can be turning the cap off for maybe a 3D line like that, or even get it back. And you can be experimenting with more options even from here. We're gonna be pressing OK. However, if we need to apply an effect on multiple objects, we need to group them. So we've got these shapes grouped in here. We're gonna be selecting them, then going to effect, then stylize, and then we can choose scribble for instance. Then you will start seeing that our scribble effect is applied on our circle and our 2 heart shape paths in here. as you can see. So you can be pressing OK. And here is another thing that you will start noticing on your layers panel as well. If you've got a group or path or compound shape that is having an effect, you will see that each layer's circle has a gray fill, as you can see in here, which means that these layers have objects or elements with an effect. However, our regular layers will be having an empty circle layer indicator as these layers in here. However, if we select these shapes in here and we start applying a different effect, then stylize, then we're going to be dropping shadow for these elements, and we can be opening our preview settings, and of course we can be changing the shadows color or even controlling that from darkness values or even its opacity. So I'm going to be pressing OK. However, if we ungroup these shapes by right clicking and choosing ungroup, we will be having our effect removed, and we will be having our group turned into paths in here, and we can be selecting only that circle, background circle, and we will start seeing that path having a stroke and fill just like a very simple shape. And we can be adding an effect to that circle, maybe choosing FX and then choosing drop shadow as well. Maybe you change that color and going to here, it will be looking like outer glow a bit, and now we have almost the same result. However, if we press OK, and you will see that our drop shadow effect is applied on both stroke and fill, and we can be applying our drop shadow effect on our stroke by dragging our effect and apply it on our stroke, so we can be seeing that effect within our stroke in here. However, if we get it outside and move it to the bottom, it will be applied on both of them as it was before, because moving effects to the bottom will be applying them on both of them as a global setting. So I'm gonna get it back to our stroke in here, and let me show you guys how to extract these effects from our shapes. So let's select that one for instance. I'm going to effect, tab, and drop shadow as well, then changing that color to black as it was. Okay, and opening our preview settings, and we can move that one around a little bit, maybe like that, and changing our Y values and pressing OK. So if you pay a close attention to our shape, you're gonna be seeing that we have our fill color and our 3D effect and drop shadow effect. Then we're gonna be going to our object, and then we're gonna be using expand appearance. And remember, when we used that for our strokes before to convert them into fill colors, we're gonna be using our expand appearance feature to extract our effects. And now you can be selecting and you can be ungrouping these elements, and then you can be moving your shadow around, and you can be applying an effect to that shadow even from here. Effect, I'm going to warp, and I'm going to be seeing maybe arc. You can choose to make it more curvy like that. You can be changing your horizontal values, maybe like that, and then pressing OK. Then we can be reducing that shape maybe a little bit and move it around for giving an illusion of some perspective if you would like to apply that within your design, and so on. So now your active task is to go open your Adobe Illustrator and start trying and experimenting with these effects. In here you're going to be trying the 3D, convert to shape, and go and mess with them and see what you like the most and what you can be using for different design purposes later for your designs. And I'll be seeing you in the next lesson.